No more questions, we can move on to our next presentation, which is student graduation with Dr. Shuey.
Thank you, President Johnson, Vice President Ragland, members of the board, Dr. Wise, Mr. Garside. Happy to be with you tonight to talk a little bit about how we are working to develop paths for future success for our students. And really, before we get into the graduation plans itself, we should probably take a step back to see how did we get to this point of even having the conversation of graduation plans. You can go to the next slide. It really started off with the Ohio Revised Code, where you, the board, adopted the policy for students at risk of not qualifying for a high school diploma. And within that ORC, it stipulates that we have to develop, each district has to develop criteria for identifying at-risk students, developing procedures for identifying at-risk students, developing notification process in which the district or school shall notify an at-risk student's parents, guardians that the student has been identified as a student at risk, and then assist these students with instructional supports or other support services that will help them graduate and qualify for a high school diploma. So within this policy, and here's where you see the embedded, develop a graduation plan for each student enrolled in grades 9 through 12 in the district or school. So that is, it says 1, but that should be the 5th bullet point there, is that the graduation plan is embedded within this larger context. So in order to really identify students that may be considered at risk, we have for several years now worked with the Tableau Dashboard that allows us to make some identifications of students that may not be on track to graduate on time. So each grade level, and this is broken down by grade level, will have certain things like attendance measure, suspensions, discipline data, cumulative GPAs. Are they credit current? Are they passing their end of course exams that are required for graduation? Have they taken any college career readiness or AP courses or exams? Are they currently enrolled in any career technical program that leads to industry recognized credentials? So based on criteria in those areas, we can identify students who may be at risk, not meeting each of those criteria, starting with 9th grade, moving on through 12th grade. So that's really how we are identifying these students, along with anecdotal information from obviously staff that work with students every single year, because obviously sometimes students may be at risk due to non-academic factors, and that is taken into consideration as well. So as far as assisting at-risk students, we do have a really robust set of instructional or support services. And just to name a few, Zello, which is our replacement for Naviance. Zello is coming in and we are using it in the same vein that we use Naviance. It just happens to be a more engaging platform to really help students explore and plan around college and career readiness. And obviously part of that planning is when you're planning your future outside of high school, you actually have to get through high school. So it also includes that plan. Obviously we have supports like I Know I Can, and we've talked a lot about I Know I Can and the value they have with working with our staff to help advise students around their options post high school. Communities in school, career technical programs, we have credit flexibility, we have mentoring, tutoring, we have social emotional learning services, and I've just listed several which you've heard in Dr. Wise's presentation earlier, and then family engagement and support services, which is a large part of assisting at-risk students. Sometimes we also have to assist the families where those students are coming from. Obviously, we talked a little bit about the scope and sequence, and really in order to get to a graduation plan, we've developed out a scope and sequence that goes 7 through 12 about how to utilize the tools in Zello. And we did something similar with Naviance, but this one, the big difference here is this platform allows us to actually provide students embedded lessons that have these assessments, interest surveys, certain aptitude qualities around career explorations. And really that's all embedded in this platform so that we can really start getting the students thinking about where they are and where they want to be ultimately. So that takes us to developing a graduation plan for each student 9 through 12. And here's the trick. We have a college career readiness advising policy that we're supposed to function under. We also have the student success plan. We have the at-risk notification, and then we have the graduation plan. So the trick here was, how do we combine all of these different plans into a meaningful process and procedure that can be found in each of these buildings, that we are not doing 4 different things that are siloed, but we are bridging each of those silos to make a cohesive, systematic approach to graduation planning. And I have been working with and pulled a team of administrators and teachers and administrators, teachers, and counselors to work on this task. And for, I guess we are in our 2nd year of meetings at this point. And what we're looking to do is address the student's academic pathway that are going to meet the curriculum requirements and satisfy graduation conditions. And as you know, satisfying graduation conditions is a little tricky when we've had 4 different conditions in 4 different years, with each cohort being different. So IT department has also been brought in, and they have been an invaluable partner in this process as well, trying to automate some of these plans as much as possible. That takes a little bit of the work off of the clerical side of things and transactional side, and leaves more of the work for our staff around the relational side with the students. So we're really grateful that we have that opportunity. We also have to make sure that these graduation plans are developed jointly by the student and the representative of the school, and we have to have the parent or guardian assisting in the development of the plan. It is the student's plan, and we're helping them facilitate the plan by monitoring and exposing them to opportunities that they may or may not have known that we have available to them. We also have to take a look at a plan that has, what are we going to do if there's a lack of progress in meeting the terms of the plan? And so the plan has to incorporate that as well. And ultimately, if a student does have an IEP, that can be used in place of the graduation plan if it's an appropriate replacement. So that will depend on the student's identified disability and how their IEP is written, including those the transitions into post-secondary life, which is embedded within the IEP as well. So I guess at this point, a little bit about the components of the actual plan. Obviously, demographic information. We have to have post-high school goals. We have to have some place where we can really document credit that is earned at the high school. What about their assessments? Are they meeting the end of course requirement, graduation requirements? If the new requirements also include the demonstration of competency or the competency alternatives, we have to have a place to go that also takes that in consideration. Also, demonstration of college and career readiness. That includes the graduation seals, which we've discussed at previous board meetings as well. And then actionable steps to support or intervene if students are not on track to graduate. So as you can see, this is a very heavy lift. And here's the thing, these graduation plans are as good as the work that happens with them. So within the graduation plan, the other thing the team has been really working hard on is, how do we take the systematic approach within the school to make sure that we are advising and guiding and intervening with students around these graduation plans, and it cannot just fall on counselors in the building. So how are we going to have this plan as a practice, community of practice amongst administrators, counselors, and the students' teachers, along with our communities in school, and I know I can, and other supports that come along with that. So what we did is, after many, many different meetings, and we looked at many, many different templates, and we came up with the components that we believe, and this is a draft right now, that we believe would take bits of information that are currently found in multiple different places and try to put them in one document. And so, the question will be, who owns this document? Where's the document going to live? Is this going to be something that is done manually? And the reality is, right now, that is what we're working on with IT. How do we turn this document into something that can pull from Infinite Campus and pull from Zello and pull from Tableau and live in Infinite Campus like so many other things do? So can this be a part of our student information system? And that's what these are the things that we're really grappling with right now. So the graduation plan in itself has those components, which I mentioned. It does give us information about their post-secondary plans. Are they going to be going directly into the workforce? Are they going into the military? Do they have apprenticeships or internships? Do they want to do 2-year, 4-year degrees? Are they undecided? Do they have current 504 plans? Are they students that are ELL? Do they have an IEP? All of these things are part of a larger advising process that we're developing out in each of our buildings. We are really going to get down to the granular level of knowing our students, understanding who they are, what they're about, what they're interested in, what they're capable of, and then encouraging them in their path forward. And this is going to be, one of our other forays into really deliberate scheduling. Sometimes we find students are taking a course load that does not match at all their interest or what they want to do out of high school. So if we could substitute 3 of their 4 courses for things that actually interest them, they would most likely be more apt to pay attention and do well in school. So again, this is a heavy lift. You can see the document for yourself. I actually am meeting with the team. We just met yesterday around this document. We beat it up a little bit. We're making some edits and some revisions. We're taking some things out. And then we're going to be meeting with IT to see how we can best automate this as much as possible, because a lot of this information already does exist in Infinite Campus and Tableau. So it looks a little overwhelming. And the last section here that is being scrolled through now is a student's, what they can do is they can take some control themselves and help also monitor their own successes, as well as us monitoring them. They're going to monitor their own understanding of their plans. And here's the part that you can see right now about the interventions. What are our plans for those students if they're not on track? And here's where we're going to document that. So that is really all I have at this moment. I will tell you that this is work that we are not completed with, and we won't be finished with it, because we're always going to come back and make some adjustments and make it better and more meaningful.
Okay, thank you. What questions do you have for Dr. Shuey?
Madam President.
Yes.
Dr. Shuey, I just want to thank you and your team for the focus you put on this. I've watched this firsthand of the intervention and attention that the staff spend trying to make sure that every student who has a desire to graduate achieves that goal, or at least gives it their best effort. Everyone from the school bus driver to the cafeteria worker to the folks that are working inside our classrooms as aides and helpers and tutors and everything else, the coaches, of course, our teachers and administrators and guidance counselors. And it was so awesome at graduation last year in the modified version that we had, just to see the joy on students' faces who knew it was that last paper or that last assignment that they turned in that really helped them achieve that goal, and the sense of pride and accomplishment that came with that. And so to the whole team that works on this in all of our schools, just huge kudos to them, because you are making a considerable difference in the future of those students' lives. And I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Caldwell.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you again, Dr. Shuey.